Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, I still feel like the same person? So why does my body feel like it's slipping away? Your joints ache more than they used to. You don't sleep like you once did. You forget names sometimes, even faces. And maybe you've brushed it off. Said to yourself, that's just age. But what if I told you it's not? What if I told you that the biggest reason most people over 60 die earlier than they should has nothing to do with genetics or even exercise, and everything to do with 6 specific foods they're not eating? Now here's the confession most people are too scared to admit. You could be doing everything right, walking daily, drinking water, watching your sugar, but if you're missing these 6 foods, your body is still starving where it matters most. Silently, slowly, relentlessly. Your brain, your bones, your heart, your muscles, every part of you needs more than just calories. It needs fuel. And over time, the absence of that fuel leads to falls that don't heal, strokes that come out of nowhere, memory lapses that never come back. And by the time the doctor finds it, they usually say something like, if we'd caught this earlier. So I need to say this plainly. If you're over 60 and you're not regularly eating these 6 essential foods, you may not live to see next year. That's not drama. That's data. And it's something no one told our parents or their parents until it was too late. And now it's our turn to break the silence. Because here's the thing. I'm not just talking to you. I'm talking to your kids, your spouse, the people who would have to sit by your hospital bed and wonder, could this have been avoided? Today, I'm going to walk you through 6 life-saving, nutrient-packed foods that every senior should eat. Foods that protect your heart, defend your memory, build your muscles, strengthen your bones, and keep you independent. One of them? Most people over 60 have never even heard of it. And number 4. It's so simple, so cheap, and yet almost no one over 60 is eating it daily. So don't miss this. Not for you, not for the people who'd miss you. And listen, if you're the kind of person who hears all this, nods, and still scrolls away without subscribing to Elderly Spring, I want you to do me a favor. Head to the comments and type, I'm choosing not to subscribe. Here's why. Be honest, be bold, because if you can explain why you're willing to risk it, maybe you'll finally hear yourself clearly. But if you're still here, if this hit a nerve or reminded you of someone you care about, then hit subscribe right now. Not for me, not even for you, for the people who'd rather grow old with you than mourn without you. And if you're really serious, comment below, I'm here for long life. Let the world know you're taking your health back, starting today. Now, take a deep breath, because the first food, it doesn't just protect your brain, it helps you remember who you are. Let's begin. 1. Wild blueberries. Picture this. George is 70. Retired, peaceful, still sharp, until he starts calling his granddaughter by the wrong name. At first, it's just once or twice. Then it becomes weekly, then daily. His daughter brushes it off. It's just age. Until one morning, George forgets how to get home from the grocery store. That's when she did something simple. She added a handful of wild blueberries to his morning smoothie. Not the big mushy kind. The small, dark, wild ones. Frozen, affordable. And over the months, George didn't just stop declining. He got better. He remembered birthdays again. He smiled when he saw familiar faces. So what made the difference? Wild blueberries are loaded with anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants that actually cross the blood-brain barrier. That means they can reduce the inflammation building up in your brain right now. And yes, that inflammation is one of the key drivers of age-related memory loss, foggy thinking, and even Alzheimer's. Now here's where most people get it wrong. They think all fruits do the same job. I eat apples, I'm fine. But blueberries, specifically wild blueberries, are in a category of their own. They directly fight the oxidative stress that's aging your brain from the inside out. And here's what you can do. Don't overthink it. Buy frozen wild blueberries. Add half a cup to oatmeal, yogurt, or a smoothie. Even just 3 to 4 times a week can make a major difference. But what if the biggest risk isn't to your brain, but to your heart? Let's talk about the food that could save you from a stroke before it ever happens. 2. dark leafy greens, spinach, kale, collards. Margaret was 67 when it happened. She was stirring soup at the stove when her right hand started to tremble. Then her speech slurred. A minor stroke, doctors said. But when they checked her levels, they found something else. Her magnesium and folate were critically low, and she thought she was eating healthy. But guess what? She was eating salad. Not spinach, not kale, not collard greens, just iceberg lettuce, drenched in dressing. Here's the truth. Dark leafy greens are some of the most protective foods for people over 60. They're rich in magnesium to keep your muscles and heart functioning. They contain folate, which protects your brain, and vitamin K, which strengthens bones and prevents arterial calcification, meaning your blood vessels stay flexible and clean. But most people don't eat enough of them. Or worse, they eat the wrong ones. I eat lettuce sometimes. That's like saying you stay warm in winter by thinking about a blanket. So here's what to do. Start adding 2 cups of dark leafy greens to your day. Cook them lightly in olive oil with garlic. Or blend into soups or smoothies. Doesn't matter how you get them in, just do it. And while greens help your heart and bones, the next food could mean the difference between walking on your own or using a wheelchair. Entree, lentils, beans. John was always active, played with his grandkids, mowed his lawn, never thought twice, until his doctor told him he'd lost 15 pounds of muscle in 1 year, and John hadn't even noticed. That's called sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss, and it sneaks up fast, and once it starts, every little thing becomes harder. Climbing stairs, standing up from a chair, carrying groceries, even holding your grandchild. But John's doctor gave him a lifeline: lentils and beans. These humble foods are packed with plant-based protein, fiber, and complex carbs that feed your muscles without stressing your kidneys. They help stabilize blood sugar, reduce cholesterol, and most importantly, build and preserve muscle. Now let's clear something up. A lot of people say, I avoid beans, they give me gas. But guess what gives you worse outcomes than gas? A hip fracture from a fall caused by weak legs. So start small. Add lentils to soup. Throw black beans on your salad. Rinse canned beans to reduce bloating. 3 times a week is enough to protect your muscle and your independence. But even muscle loss isn't the most silent threat. The next one can stop your heart in the middle of a quiet afternoon. 4. Avocados. Lisa was gardening when she fainted. No warning, no dizziness, just collapsed. At the ER, they told her it wasn't her heart or her blood sugar. It was dangerously low potassium. That's when a nutritionist asked her a simple question: how often do you eat avocados? Lisa hadn't had one in months. Here's what you need to know. Avocados aren't just trendy. They're one of the most nutrient-dense foods for heart health, especially after 60. They're packed with potassium and magnesium, which regulate heart rhythm and blood pressure, and they offer monounsaturated fats that nourish your brain and reduce inflammation in your arteries. But many seniors avoid them. They're too fatty, they say. But this fat heals. Senior brains and hearts need this fat like a house needs a roof. Here's the tip. Eat half an avocado a day. Put it on toast. Dice it into a salad. Or eat it plain with a pinch of sea salt. But don't skip it, because your heart won't always give you a warning. Now, let's talk about a tiny seed that's more powerful than milk when it comes to your bones. 5 chia seeds. Evelyn drank milk her whole life. Strong bones, right? But at 75, she slipped in the bathroom and broke her hip. Doctors were puzzled. Her calcium levels were fine, but her bones were brittle. That's when her daughter introduced her to chia seeds. These tiny seeds are loaded with plant-based calcium, omega-3s, and fiber. More calcium than milk, more fiber than bran, and more brain-supporting fats than most nuts. They strengthen bones, smooth digestion, reduce cholesterol, and even lower inflammation, without the side effects of dairy. And here's the beauty, they're simple. Myth. I don't eat chia seeds, I don't know how. Truth. Soak them in water overnight and you'll have a pudding by morning, or stir into your oatmeal. Sprinkle on yogurt. They don't taste like much, but they do change a lot. especially for your bones, your gut, and your heart. But now, it's time to talk about the food that almost everyone overlooks. The one that's so easy to dismiss, but could be the one that keeps you mentally sharp for the rest of your life. 6. Walnuts. James had always been upbeat, a jokester, a people person. But as he approached 68, something shifted. He became withdrawn, flat, depressed. His doctor offered meds, but a friend offered something else, a handful of walnuts. Every morning, James ate 4. That's it, just 4. In 3 months, his energy came back. So did his laughter. Why? Walnuts are rich in omega-3s, which reduce brain inflammation and support neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, the chemicals that keep you stable, joyful, and mentally sharp. They also contain polyphenols that help protect against cognitive decline, memory loss, and depression in aging adults. But most people think nuts are just snacks. No, these are medicine, in a shell. Here's what to do. Eat them raw, about 4 halves a day. Avoid the salted or roasted ones. Pair with fruit or sprinkle into your breakfast. It's simple, it's natural, and it could protect your mind when everything else tries to take it. Now, let's bring all this together with a truth you may not have expected. Let me talk to you, not as a presenter, not as a voice in a video, but as someone who understands what it feels like to sit across from someone you love and see them fade right in front of you. Maybe it started with little things. A missed appointment, a lost key, a bruised arm from a fall they didn't want to talk about, a quiet dinner where they barely touched their plate. And maybe, like so many people, you brushed it off. Just a bad week. She's just tired. He's just getting older. But what if I told you it wasn't just age? What if I told you the decline didn't start with disease, but with deficiency? That their brain didn't stop working overnight, it starved. That their bones didn't break out of nowhere. They were silently losing strength for years. That their heart didn't just weaken. It was running on empty while the rest of the world cheered them on for eating light. And now maybe you're seeing it in yourself too. You stand up from the couch and feel dizzy. You walk into a room and forget why. You read something, and then read it again because the words didn't stick. You feel more tired than you should. Not exhausted, just worn. Worn in a way that scares you a little. You want to feel like you again. You want to remember conversations. You want to feel clear, stable, energized. You want your legs to support you, your memory to serve you. You want to laugh without coughing, to bend without aching, to live, not just survive. And that's why I need you to hear me clearly. So much of that decline is optional. Let that sink in. Yes, aging is real. Yes, the body changes. But how it ages, how it changes, how fast or how gently, that is shaped by what you give it. And right now, your body is asking you for help. Not with pills, not with more appointments, just with better fuel. Think about your car. You wouldn't fill a luxury car with the wrong gas and expect it to perform. So why do we feed our bodies bland, empty, low-nutrient meals and expect them to protect us? The truth is, you don't need a personal chef. You don't need fancy diets. You don't even need a perfect grocery list. You just need to start with one thing. One food. One decision. One better breakfast. One handful of protection instead of processed snacks. One small swap that adds up over time. Because here's what most people don't realize until it's too late. Decline doesn't happen in one big moment. It happens quietly. A missed nutrient here, a skipped meal there. A slow erosion of vitality while no one's watching. But the good news? Healing also starts quietly. With a spoonful of chia seeds in your oats. With a half avocado on your toast. With a few wild blueberries before your walk. With a handful of walnuts in the afternoon instead of chips. That's it. That's the beginning of better. And listen, this isn't about fear. This is about freedom. The freedom to move without help. To wake up without pain. To go to bed remembering your day, your people, your joy. To age with dignity. To look at your reflection and say, I'm still here. I still feel good. This is about giving your body, and the bodies of those you love, a real shot at thriving. Not just living longer, but living well. So I'll say this once, and I'll say it slow. Pick one food. Just one. Add it today, right now if you can. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel motivated. Because if you wait for motivation, you might wait until something breaks, until the doctor says something you can't unhear, until you find yourself needing help with things you used to do with ease. Don't wait for that. You've already made the first move by watching this far. That means you care. That means you're ready. And if this isn't for you, maybe it's for your wife, your dad, your aunt who never complains, but you've noticed her shrinking frame, or your brother who brushes off his fatigue as just being busy. You know someone, and maybe, just maybe, you are that someone. And if you're still telling yourself, it's too late for me, let me tell you something I've seen over and over again. I've seen 70-year-olds become stronger than they were at 55. I've seen memory improve, balance restored, joy return, all from food, not medicine, not surgery, just food. Because nature already gave you what you need. You just have to choose it. Aging does not have to mean decline. It can mean confidence, wisdom, grace, even recovery, but only if you fuel the body like it matters. So, what will you do today? Will you walk away and forget what you've learned? Or will you open that fridge and say, let's start? One food, one decision, one future, brighter than you thought was possible. And coming up next, I'll remind you of each of these 6 life-saving foods, and then I'll ask you a question that'll bring it all together. Take a breath. We're not done yet. Let's finish this together. Now, let's take a moment to bring everything together. 6 simple foods. That's it. No complicated rules, no expensive supplements, just real healing foods your body already understands because it's been waiting for them. Let me remind you of each one. Wild blueberries, tiny powerful berries that protect your memory and sharpen your mind. Dark leafy greens, spinach, kale, collards. Your bones, heart, and brain crave them. Lentils and beans, muscle-saving, energy-boosting, blood sugar balancing miracles. Avocados, creamy, delicious heart helpers packed with potassium and healthy fats. Chia seeds, the small but mighty protectors of bones, digestion, and cholesterol. And walnuts, brain food in the purest form, rich in omega-3s to lift your mood and your memory. Just one of these could rewrite your story, could protect your independence, could give you back mornings with more energy, nights with better sleep, days that feel like yours again. And I want to ask you right now, which one will you start with? Is it the avocado you've been avoiding because you thought it was too fatty? The blueberries you passed by at the store because you didn't know they mattered? The chia seeds you've never tried because, well, no one ever taught you how? Drop your answer in the comments. Seriously. I want to know. Not for me. For the other people reading, searching, hoping for that first small step. Maybe your comment is the one that helps someone else get started. Maybe you need to see your own intention written out, where it feels real. So, go ahead. Type it. Say, I'm starting with walnuts. Or, I'll try chia seeds this week. Whatever it is, make it real. And listen, if this video helped you in any way, if it made you think, made you reflect, or made you hopeful, I want to gently invite you to subscribe to Elderly Spring. Every week we bring you new videos like this, carefully researched, warmly spoken, designed to help you or someone you love age with strength, clarity, and dignity. Not shame, not fear, not impossible goals, just truth, support, and hope. Because you deserve to feel empowered in this next chapter of life, not confused or overwhelmed. And if you're still here, if you've made it this far, I can tell. You're not someone who gives up on their health. You're someone who's willing to learn, to grow, and to protect what matters most. And I want to thank you for spending this time with me, for giving your body this chance, for choosing not just to survive your later years, but to live them fully. So as we wrap up, here's my final encouragement to you. Stay kind to your body. It's been fighting for you since day one. Stay curious about your health, Because knowledge is power, but action is freedom. And stay connected. We're here for you every step of the way. This is Elderly Spring, and I'll see you stronger in the next one.